to him?
I don't know what happened.
But I think you have a really good idea of what happened.
I don't know what happened.
But you have a really good idea what happened.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Because there's no reason at this point that you would be lying to me.
Kind of. Like I lost the first house.
Yeah.
He's betrayed me so much, you guys.
I know.
You've seen the pictures.
I've seen the pictures.
I've tried getting away.
I know, Nikki. That's all I wanted was the truth. Like I said,
Get away.
I just wanted you to tell me what happened.
I've tried getting away.
This is going to be the interrogation that will probably piss you off the most. Because the killer, she doesn't make a single effort. The whole time, she's lying, dodging every question, and just flat out avoiding the truth. Here's what went down. Chad, exhausted after a long day at work, comes home thinking he'll see his wife, but instead, he's met by her lover Earl. Earl shoots Chad and his wife. She's right there, helping him try to burn the house down to cover their tracks. Stick around, because I'm going to break down every single detail for you. Welcome to Caseborne. I explain it all. A house fire ended up uncovering a shocking murder and what looked like a messy love triangle in a small North Dakota town. On January 2nd, 2020, firefighters got called out to a house fire in the suburbs of Bismarck. Nikki Ensel got home to find her house filled with smoke. When she called 911, she told dispatchers she was worried her husband might be trapped inside. He'd been missing from work for a few days. When the firefighters got in, they found Chad Ensel, 42, dead in one of the bedrooms. But here's the thing. He didn't die from a fire or smoke. He had been shot multiple times with a shotgun. As investigators sifted through the ashes and debris, things didn't add up. Chad had been hit with 2 shots, either of which could have killed him. The shotgun itself was lying on the bed, not next to Chad on the floor. The house fire Nikki reported was actually 2 separate fires, one in the bedroom where Chad was found, and another in the basement. A fire detection dog sniffed around and picked up traces of accelerant. That's when the investigation shifted from a routine fire to a full-on homicide case. Security camera footage helped piece together Chad's final days. Turns out, Nikki was having an affair with a Canadian guy named Earl Howard, and the police tracked them moving around Bismarck together. Her interrogation lasted 6 hours. She tried to lie, dodge, and minimize her involvement, but eventually, she began revealing pieces of the story. What happened that night? Who did what? How they tried to cover it up? Every detail pointed to a chilling reality. Chad's death wasn't a random act of violence. It was carefully planned, with Nikki and Earl at the center of it. But I'm going to break down the major parts for you here.
Earl, you didn't plan to come and set the house on fire.
No.
Earl did. How is he going to set that house on fire? Nikki, you've already told me. Just come. Free yourself.
What's going to happen to you?
We'll talk about that afterwards, but I got to know what the full story is too. Right now we're having to cut this up every second. What did Earl come back to do with the propane tank? For what reason? You said he was scared. Okay.
Because we argued.
Okay, I got that. Did he tell you anything else about the fire?
No, I said going to put on that and set the house on fire.
Okay.
And that's all I know.
So did you guys come back to check? Did Earl want to come back to check if that house had burnt down? When was that?
Man, the first thing you notice when Nikki starts talking, she's whispering. Like, you can barely hear her. Every time she opens her mouth, it's just this quiet, hesitant mumble. And honestly, if I were there, I'd be losing it. You can see the investigators getting frustrated. They're repeating questions, leaning in, trying to catch every word, and she's just tiptoeing around the truth. But don't worry, I'm going to explain why she's acting like this in a sec.
And what did he say when that house hadn't burnt down yet?
He said he just went out there to check the house.
Okay, and when it wasn't burnt down, what did he say? I know what I would think. What did he say?
He just said the house was hot.
So he went into the house.
He said he couldn't go in the house. So it was too hot.
Okay, so that happened. You guys came back to the house. Earl went in, moved the propane tank so that it would start the house on fire. And then you guys came back again and checked, and the house still hadn't burned down.
I didn't come back.
You didn't go back at that time? Okay. And the house still hadn't burned down.
That's what he said.
Okay, did he say, did he go back in?
No, he said he didn't go back.
Why?
He just said he didn't go back in. That's all he said. He said the house was hot. And they told me.
What did he tell you about the fight?
They were arguing. They were arguing about him always beating on me.
Mm-hmm.
He said that it was continuous. And he just wanted him to stop beating on me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we argued about too, was him stop beating on me.
Right.
And he just needed to stop. And Chad was arguing it. He was drunk and wasn't making any sense.
Okay.
And he said that Chad had the gun. And he had shells right there. So they were laying there on the bed.
Okay.
And he said that they picked it up. And they were arguing about the gun. Back and forth. And he said it went off. He said he didn't know the gun was off. He said he said that.
What did Earl say about how many times it went off?
He didn't say how many times it went off. But I didn't hear anything in the car. I had the register open and the car was running.
So why didn't you go back in and check on him?
When he told me that, I didn't even know what to think. I was in complete shock. Still from fighting with him.
With all you had been through, were you kind of relieved that Chad was gone?
Kind of. I like I lost the first house.
Yeah.
He's betrayed me so much, you guys.
I know.
You've seen the pictures.
I've seen the pictures.
I've tried getting away.
I know, Nikki. That's all I wanted was the truth. Like I
I've tried
said,
getting away.
I just wanted you to tell me what happened.
I've tried getting away. And the last time I tried getting away, he broke my ribs. And he didn't anymore. My arms aren't even all the way from that.
So you were in the house arguing with Chad.
Yes.
Did you ever go back in that house until you went back in with him?
No.
Okay. But we know that Earl went back twice. At least twice, right? So what did you guys do in the meantime? So you get back to the hotel and Earl, because Earl had already told you that he shot Chad and Chad might not be alive.
I cried.
Okay, so when Earl shot Chad, did he tip the propane heater over then? Or was it when he went back the next morning? I was a little confused on that.
I went back.
When he went back. So the house was not lit on fire when he shot Chad. That was only when he went back another time. So what did you guys do that night then? So you get home and there's about a 3-4 hour gap from when you get back to the hotel till when you guys go back out there. You cry. What else?
I said I cried. And I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. I said, it's nuts.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't know.
Nikki, whose idea was it to call in Chad on Tuesday morning?
When we argued, he told me I was supposed to call him.
Right, but it doesn't just happen though. Chad's not going to go to work. Whose idea was that? The Tuesday. I know, but Why would, if Chad is dead and you know that, why would you still call him then? Whose idea was
As a
that?
victim, I'm scared. It's so many places in my head.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so you weren't trying to take time to figure anything out?
No. As a victim, I'm scared.
What about then on the 2nd when his co-workers are out at the house and they call you and say, hey, he didn't show up for work, and you just basically tell him, I'm busy at work right now, I'll check on it later. And what was going through your mind at that point? Because you knew exactly why Chad wasn't.
I'd have been really frustrated by my thing. Really.
Why did you talk with Earl when they started calling from work?
No, because I've been crazy busy.
Nikki,
And then
your husband just died in a really weird, crazy circumstance that just snowballed out of control. You can't tell me that you weren't thinking of that. That had to be every second of your life from the time it happened.
I talked to him, obviously, yes, I talked to him.
Okay, what did you guys talk about?
I just told him, I said, this is nuts. I said, I just don't really understand because it just seems to be crazy. I said, all I wanted him to do was stop drinking.
Right,
Be nice to me.
right.
That's all I ever wanted.
What did Earl say to do? What did you guys talk about? What did you guys think to do? This is that part where I'm trying to understand.
I said to myself, I don't know. I said, I don't know. I said, Sergeant Aaron, that's so nice to me. I said, and everybody was being so mean to me about my phone and everything.
Yeah.
And I said, I just want to understand. I said, he's so nice to me. I said, I just want to go talk to him.
Right.
And every time I tried calling you, you never called me back. And I called so many times. I called. I wanted to talk to you earlier.
And Nikki, that's why we're talking now.
And I called.
Okay, and that's why we're talking now, okay?
And I called.
We can get past that point, okay? That's your conscience telling you to do the right thing, okay? That's the mother in you of 2 children telling you you have to take care of them, you have to come forward, you have to tell them. So tell me what those conversations were so I can understand and I can make sense of this. And like I said, if this is something that's snowballed out of control, like you said, that can make sense, right? But I can't keep dragging these answers out of you. I can't keep dragging what happened. I can't ask for the truth any harder.
I kept telling Earl, I said, I just want to talk to him. I said, I just want to talk to Aaron. And he goes, call him then. And I said, I do. And he never answers my phone and calls. And I said, I don't understand. You never call me back. And I called anyway, like the next day already. And I called.
And I came out with you the next day.
No.
Friday.
No.
Or Monday, I apologize, Monday.
But I called, like, even after you had my phone.
I know, that was on the weekend, I didn't have that phone, I'm sorry.
And they even called down here. And later, didn't work again. And I said, I just want to talk to him.
Okay.
I just really want to talk to him.
Okay, well, we're talking now, Nikki.
And I was like, I just need to talk to him. They called you other times and you never called me back.
Alright, we gotta get past that, Nikki. We're talking now, so that's okay. I apologize, I'm sorry, but we're talking now.
Nikki, we're not questioning why you're only telling us this now.
Right, we
I mean,
understand.
this I understand.
This is understandable,
I
that.
said, I just don't understand. I said, this is crazy. I said, it went so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can't even think. It's just nuts. I said, it went from I'm not gonna make this statement.
That's enough. You don't have to be like that.
Stop. Do you see what she just did? Nikki realizes she spilled everything. There's no going back now. Everything she tried to hide, every lie she dodged, it's all out there. And suddenly, panic hits. In a desperate move, she starts tearing up her own statement and even the investigator's notes. You can almost feel the chaos in the room, the investigator's jaws dropping, trying to grab the papers before they disappear. It's that moment when the reality of what she's done smacks her in the face. And honestly, it tells you a lot about her state of mind. Guilt, fear, maybe even a last-ditch attempt to regain control. She knows the truth is out, and in that panic, she lashes out at the only thing she can, her own words and the evidence right in front of her. It's messy, it's tense, and it's one of those moments in an interrogation that makes you lean forward and think, wow, this is getting real. Now, why does someone do this? Speaking loudly during police interrogation. From a behavioral perspective, a few things could be at play. 1. Self-preservation and fear. Nikki knows she's implicated in a murder. Speaking loudly or confidently about her involvement could feel like confirming guilt to the authorities, so she instinctively minimizes herself, almost as if making herself smaller, and the room might reduce the perceived threat. 2. Manipulation tactic. By talking softly and hesitating, she forces investigators to lean in, repeat themselves, and almost work harder for answers. This can be a subtle way of controlling the pace of the interrogation, buying time to think or to avoid fully disclosing details. 3. Emotional stress and guilt. Being questioned about your own role in a brutal murder is overwhelming. A whisper can reflect anxiety, shame, or an inability to cope with the reality of the situation. For the investigators, this behavior is maddening because it slows down the process. They know she has the answers, but the constant quiet, evasive responses make it feel like pulling teeth. It's a common tactic seen in interrogations where the suspect is trying to protect themselves, manipulate the dynamic, or simply can't emotionally face the full weight of what they've done.
Have you asked?
I asked you.
You didn't ask me anything.
I don't know.
So what, as an investigator, should I think when this happened? You and Earl are back and forth from that house, and then when I question you on it, you lie to me. If you were in my shoes, what would you think? If you were sitting here and I was sitting there and you were questioning me about it, and everything I did was perfectly innocent, but I sat there and lied the whole time, what would you think?
I don't remember all the times I was on.
Again, you're not answering my questions. What would you think?
I'd be upset.
But what would you think?
I don't know what to do.
I would think that you know more than you're telling us.
I don't know what happened.
And I'm getting to the point where I'm struggling to not think that maybe you were the one who did it.
I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
But tell me what you do know about it. Because you do know something about it. You do.
I don't know what happened.
I know you don't know what happened because I don't believe you were standing there when it did happen. But you do know
I don't know what happened.
I know you keep saying that. You don't know what happened.
I don't know. I can't answer anything I don't know. I don't know what happened. That's why I asked you guys. I don't honestly know what happened. I don't know.
Should I tell you what I think happened? You want to know what I think happened?
Tell me.
I think that you and Earl went out there, that Chad was probably drinking, being an asshole. You've got this history of being abused by Chad. I don't know, did he assault you that night, or was he threatening to? Was he threatening to assault Earl?
No.
Because I can about imagine how a drunk guy who likes to fight and hit someone when they're drunk is going to handle his wife walking in with another guy that she's then going to go stay at the hotel with. I can about imagine how that's going to go. And that's about how it went, didn't it? I mean, I'm sure that did not go well at all, did it?
We argued about the furnace. I don't know.
And I'm sure Chad was just ecstatic about the idea of you going and staying in a hotel room with another guy, wasn't he?
He didn't say we were arguing about the furnace, and I told him I didn't want to be there. And then he was hollering about not wanting me there.
Okay. So, what I think happened is that something happened. And I'm not going to get into something happened at that time. And whether you stepped out in the garage, stayed out in the kitchen, something happened in that house that led to Chad dying. Do I think you were probably standing there? No.
I don't know.
But I think that you were there. You were on that property at the time when it happened.
I don't know what happened at all. I don't know at all what happened.
What if I told you that the second time when you went out there with Earl in the morning and you guys were in the house, that we believe that Chad was probably already deceased at that time? And that the third time when you said, well, this is still up for debate because you've changed your story a few times, when you and Earl were out there that next evening, 10:55 or whatever, Chad was also deceased at that time.
I don't know what happened.
So, I think you have a little explaining to do as to, we believe you were in that house twice after Chad was deceased.
No.
That's not true?
No.
Or,
I don't know what happened.
okay, that's not what I asked you. So are you telling me that's not true?
Not true.
So Chad was alive when you were in the house the last two times?
When I went in that morning, he stood there. I snuck in and out.
Okay,
Okay, here, let me ask you a question.
please.
Why would I go back to somebody's room, or why would I wake somebody that's always in a foul mood that I'm trying to get out and get away from?
Why would you go out there at 1 in the morning when he's been drinking and stay there for an hour and 40 minutes?
I need those patches.
Just like you needed the patches at 6:30.
Patches.
Yes, I believe that.
I get so randomly sick.
Okay. I'm not disputing that with you. That's one part of your whole statement that you made to me that I actually don't think you're lying on.
We left. Kind of giggled and left. He was mad.
And then you guys go back out there that night then.
No, we went out, we got my stuff.
Okay.
Went back out.
In the morning, right?
We got into argument.
So you got no morning in your argument that morning then?
Well, whatever time that was in the AM.
Okay.
And that argument.
Uh-huh. Yep, so you went out there, you got some stuff while Chad was bowling, right?
Right.
Then you went back out there in the early morning hours, like 10 after 1. And again, we were looking at it, and you had been on the camera system, switching it to privacy mode, which just for some reason, did not work. I don't know why it didn't work. It didn't work. And then you guys show up out there. You're there for an hour and 40 minutes. Right? I know, you said that. Then you come back 3 hours later.
I need those patches.
I get that. I know that.
Run in, I get the patches. We were in and out places.
It doesn't make any sense to me that you were there for an hour and 40 minutes and couldn't figure out where those patches were, but then you can go out at 6:30 in the morning when you have had no sleep at all.
If somebody's arguing
And
with
had no
if somebody's
epiphany and just
arguing,
knew where they were.
If somebody's they weren't there.
Okay.
They weren't there.
I mean, but this house also isn't that big, that in an hour and 40 minutes, if you needed these patches so badly, you would have looked for them
But when you
in
don't-
all these
But
rooms.
when you don't look for them and you stop and you just start arguing with somebody, and that's all you're gonna do is argue with them? Because that's, okay, so if I'm married to you, and we're in an argument, and you're trying to look for something, and you're gonna start arguing with somebody, are you gonna keep looking for something, or are you gonna stop and focus and argue with them?
Well, if I need some medication, that's the sole purpose that I'm there, and I'm going to get violently ill. If I don't, I'm probably going to put some priority on that medication. If that's the whole purpose of me being
And
there.
I'm opening the kitchen drawer, tower, and I'm arguing at the same time. I'm ruffling through the stuff, I'm trying to look for the stuff, and I'm opening the stuff, and I am arguing with them.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I'm just, when you stop, you actually argue to face, and said, done, left.
Mm-hmm.
Left. Done. I'm not staying here, the furnace doesn't work, I'm done. Left. And then I said to her, I said, what was me? I said, oh no, look, one more time, in the bathroom, more patches. I said, I'm gonna take this back out. Ran in, came in with this big pants as well. And then left the patches right there. We got
Mhm.
and we came back to the hotel, I got ready for work. And that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. And then you guys went back out there again that night at 11 o'clock.
He tried to get to his backpack.
Okay.
And he to his backpack. I'm trying to grab what I can grab so I
Uh-huh.
can get out.
So what did you grab when you were in there then at 11 o'clock at night when you were getting the backpack?
I told him that was to his backpack.
Okay, that was it? Okay.
I told him that was to his backpack.
And do you notice anything unusual about the house or anything like that? No or yes? Huh? No? Okay. And where did you grab the backpack from?
He's in the garage.
Okay.
That's where he was sleeping.
Okay, you just sets it in the garage? Okay. And where was Chad?
I just went in the garage and that's it.
You just went in the garage?
That's it.
And where did Earl go? Earl went in the house though.
I don't remember what it was. They said he had the boots.
He got what?
He had the boots.
From where?
In the closet right there.
Why was it Earl grabbing the boots?
Try something, try to make it.
Okay. And then what did you guys do there? You were there for almost 10 minutes, so to go in there for 10 minutes to grab a backpack and a pair of boots right in the closet right there doesn't take 10 minutes.
I got
Okay, so where do you get the boots from?
these.
Oh, no, that's fine. I get it. But,
These. And I got my black boots.
okay, and where were they all at?
Right in the closet.
Which closet?
And,
Okay, that doesn't take 10 minutes. You could grab 5 pairs of boots and a backpack and it wouldn't have taken 10 minutes.
so that was the boots and that.
Okay. And what else did Earl do in that house then?
That's it, we got boots and the backpack.
Okay, and what else? Because there was more that happened in the house then. Because that timeline doesn't match up.
Got boots and the backpack. That's
Mhm.
all I got. That's all. And then we left. Oh, I got wrapping paper.
And where was the wrapping paper at?
Right on the corner.
Okay. Like in the garage or in the house?
In the house.
Okay.
And that's it. Well, that's what the boots were, was in the house.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And who grabbed the wrapping paper?
Probably.
Okay. But you grabbed the backpack? Okay.
Nikki. I mean, I thought you were honest with me. I thought that's what we were doing here. I mean, I've trusted you this whole time.
I'll be right back.
And
I don't know what happened.
okay, but Nikki, why were you so dishonest with me about this? I trusted you.
The times we ran, I forgot about running back out there. Do you know how full my brain is?
I know, but I asked you those things. I asked you that. You weren't honest with me. Why?
I forgot about the times we ran back out there. I said, I
But
don't
that's a
remember all
big
the
thing,
times we
Nikki.
went
That's
back out there.
that's not forgetting. That's lying to me. You lied to me,
I'm sorry. So we went back out there.
Nikki. You're not a bad person. I don't believe it. Okay? I don't know. You know, obviously, you weren't being honest to me. You weren't. You've been lying. I've been watching you lie to him the whole time. He's disproved everything you've said. You're not a bad person. I get that. But we gotta know the truth. You gotta start telling. No, Nikki, stop, Nikki. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying.
Okay.
The I don't knows and that when we keep going, we find the truth. The truth is here. We have the truth.
I honestly don't know what happened.
We need to hear it from you.
I honestly don't know what happened.
But there's got to be more, Nikki, because there's more. You've been lying to me the whole time, Nikki. You have. You admitted. Did you lie to me to this?
No, we got.
That's not true, Nikki. Those stories that you told me, that's not everything is matching up. You told me that Earl and you were only at the house that one time. You're not being honest with me on that. And that's what I'm at. I'm wanting from you to help. I gotta know what happened. Because like you said, you're not a monster. Right?
Right.
And this whole situation can maybe be explained. But you gotta be honest. You know, and like I said, we keep going around this and you keep lying about it. That doesn't, how does that look? How do you think we look at you at that when you keep lying about this and we know that Chad was killed? Can you gotta tell us an explanation for
I don't
it?
know what happened. Honestly, Aaron, I don't.
Nikki, I think you know enough to tell me what happened that night.
I don't know what happened.
I think you know enough to tell me what happened during that hour and 40 minutes.
We went out there and I argued with him.
But then what? Something more happened that night.
And we got in the vehicle and
Nikki, that's not true. We know that off of the information that we've gathered. We have all kinds of things. Like I said, you've got to stop telling lies.
I don't know what happened.
What happened?
I don't know.
Nikki, you do.
I don't.
Nikki, something happened that night in that hour and 40 minutes. And it's not just an arguing. You weren't loading the dishwasher. That might have happened. But something else happened.
I don't know.
Nikki, something else happened, and we know it. And I want to know from your point of view, your explanation. Because when we have everything in there and together, that paints its own picture. That's how it's going to come out. And when that happens, I can't change that path. Right? Once something is said and once it gets out, that's what everybody's going to think happened. But now is your chance to tell in your words what happened. And I can explain to the world what happened. And it may, like I said, the more you lie, the more it makes you look like this monster about what happened that night. But I need to hear from you.
Okay.
I need to hear from you tell me what went down that night.
Okay. We went out there. We had an argument. I told him
Yeah.
I'm not going to give here anymore. There's no heat. I'm done. I don't want to do it. You know what? I'm done with all of it.
So, after Nikki finally finished giving her testimony, yeah, That long, exhausting, 6-hour interrogation where she kept dodging questions and talking so quietly you could barely hear her. Things started moving toward the legal side of things. I mean, just imagine being in that room watching her slowly admit things while keeping that low voice. You can see why the investigators were getting frustrated. But once she spilled the truth, there was no going back. She had basically admitted her involvement in her husband Chad's death and the whole plan to cover it up with a fire. After her testimony, Nikki was officially charged with conspiracy to commit murder, arson, and tampering with evidence. This wasn't just a slap on the wrist situation. This was heavy stuff. And her husband's death was tragic, so you can imagine the investigators and the community's reaction. Honestly, it's hard not to feel a deep sympathy for Chad here. The guy comes home after a long day at work and ends up being killed in such a cruel, premeditated way. It's heartbreaking. Now, let's talk about Earl Howard, her Canadian lover. He didn't get off lightly either. He was the one who pulled the trigger, and he ended up pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit murder, arson, and evidence tampering. He received a 25-year prison sentence. That's a long time behind bars, and honestly, given what he did, it feels justified. But at the same time, it's sad to think about the wasted potential of someone's life being cut off by choices like this. Nikki's trial came later, and it was intense. The jury had to sift through hours of testimony, evidence, and the damning footage showing her and Earl together in Bismarck. You could tell the community was glued to this case. Everyone wanted to know how a woman could be involved in something so horrific with her own husband. In February 2023, she was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after serving 85% of her sentence. That translates to roughly 36 years behind bars before she's even eligible for parole. And yeah, she was also convicted of arson and tampering with evidence. But the big one that sticks is that life sentence for her role in Chad's death. Watching this unfold, I can't help but think about the psychology behind her actions. Talking so quietly during the interrogation, that's classic avoidance and guilt. She didn't want to face the reality of what she did, even as she was admitting it. I imagine it was partly fear, partly shame, and maybe even an attempt to manipulate how the investigators perceived her. But no matter how low her voice was, the truth came out, and that's what matters in the end. Another thing that hits me is how Nikki tried to control the narrative even after the murder. Remember, she helped Earl set the fire to cover it up. That shows a level of calculated thinking that's chilling. But then, during the trial, you could see the cracks. Her composure slipped, and she had to face the consequences of her actions. Meanwhile, Chad's story is life. It just feels so overshadowed by the drama. And that's the part that really makes me feel for him. The guy's gone, but the memory of what happened to him sticks. The way the legal system handled it seems thorough. Both Nikki and Earl got sentences proportionate to their roles. Earl pulled the trigger and got 25 years. Nikki conspired and actively helped with the cover-up, and she got life with parole eligibility after decades. The courts made sure justice was done, but it's impossible to ignore the human tragedy behind all the legal jargon. Families were broken, a community shook, and one man, Chad, is forever gone. Honestly, cases like this make me think about how people can get caught up in relationships that spiral into catastrophic decisions. There's betrayal, manipulation, and a complete disregard for human life. And it's not just about the crime, it's about the ripple effects. Chad's family, friends, and co-workers all had to process this horror while the perpetrators were facing trials. It's heavy stuff, man. So, wrapping this up, after her testimony, Nikki went through her trial, got sentenced to life with parole eligibility after decades, and Earl got 25 years. Both paid a high price, but the real victim, Chad, is the one whose life was stolen. Watching the case, thinking about the interrogation, the low voice, the slow confessions, it's a stark reminder of how complex, tragic, and shocking human behavior can be. And honestly, I keep coming back to one thought. The quiet way Nikki spoke during the interrogation, it's like she was trying to hide from herself as much as from the police. She knew the truth, but saying it out loud, that was a battle. And maybe that's why the investigators had to push so hard to get the full story. Anyway, that's the breakdown from the end of the interrogation through to sentencing. It's heavy, it's tragic, and it's a lot to take in, but it's important to remember Chad and the life that was lost. If you want more deep dives like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Before you go, tell me in the comments, what state or country are you watching from? I'd love to see where everyone's tuning in from. Thanks for sticking with me through this one. Now go ahead, hit start on the next video, and let's uncover the next story together.